A man I'll call Robert sat across from me about 4 years into my practice. He had worked 31 years as a machinist in upstate New York. Solid career, steady paychecks, nothing complicated. When we pulled up his Social Security statement together, something looked off. 1 year, 1994, showed zero income. Robert looked at the screen and said, "That's wrong. I worked the whole year. I remember exactly where I worked, because it was the year my son was born." We spent 20 minutes finding his old W-2 in a box of papers he had kept in his garage for 30 years. He mailed a copy to Social Security. 4 months later, his benefit was corrected. It came out to an extra $94 a month for the rest of his life. Robert never would have known. Nobody at Social Security called him to say, "Hey, we think we made an error on your account in 1994. That is not how the system works. The Social Security Administration manages records for over 70 million people. They are not going to find your mistake for you. You have to find it yourself." And that is exactly what we are going to walk through today. Now let's get into today's topic. There is one document that determines every single dollar of your Social Security benefit, and the overwhelming majority of people have never opened it. It is called your Social Security Statement, and it lives inside your account at SSA.gov. I want to walk you through exactly how to access it, what to look for, and why this 15-minute task might be the most financially important thing you do all year. Here is how to get started. Go to SSA.gov on your computer or your phone. If you already have a Social Security account, log in. If you do not have one yet, you will need to create one. It takes about 10 minutes, and you will need to verify your identity, usually with your Social Security number and a few pieces of personal information. Once you are logged in, look for the option to view your Social Security statement. That is the document we are talking about today. I want to be honest with you. The website is not the most modern-looking system in the world. The Social Security Administration itself has acknowledged they are working to upgrade their technology. But the information inside, once you find it, is exactly what you need. Once you open your statement, there are 2 numbers I want you to find first. The first is your PIA, your primary insurance amount. That is the full monthly benefit you are entitled to at your full retirement age, before any reduction for claiming early or increase for claiming late. Think of this as your baseline number. Every other calculation about your retirement income starts here. The second number is your full retirement age itself, sometimes shown as FRA on the statement. If you were born in 1960 or later, that age is 67. If you were born earlier, it may be 66 and a certain number of months, depending on your exact birth year. Write both of these numbers down. They are the foundation for every Social Security decision you will ever make. Now I want to explain something that most people do not fully understand about how their benefit is actually calculated, because once you understand this, you will understand why checking your earnings record matters so much. Social Security does not look at your entire working life. It looks at your 35 highest earning years. If you worked for 40 years, the 5 lowest earning years are dropped from the calculation entirely. If you worked fewer than 35 years, here is the part that surprises people. The missing years are not simply ignored, they are counted as 0. A 0 in your record pulls your average down significantly, because Social Security is averaging your earnings across all 35 years, whether you actually worked all of them or not. This is exactly why checking your earnings history, year by year, matters so much. Scroll down on your statement, and you will see a full list of every year you worked, going back to your very first job, along with the income that was reported for each one. I want you to go through it carefully. Compare it against what you actually remember earning. Do you see a year that shows 0, but you know for a fact you were working? Do you see a number that looks too low compared to what you remember your paycheck being? These things happen more often than you would think. An employer makes a payroll reporting error. A company changes ownership and records get lost in the transition. Someone's name is recorded slightly differently across 2 W-2s, and the systems do not match them together. None of these are your fault, but correcting them is entirely your responsibility, because nobody else is going to catch it for you. Let me give you a sense of what one of these errors actually costs. Based on the way the benefit formula works, a single incorrect year, 1 year showing 0, or a significantly lower number than what you actually earned, can reduce your eventual monthly benefit by approximately $100. That does not sound dramatic on its own. But $100 a month for 20 or 25 years of retirement adds up to $24,000 to $30,000 over your lifetime. And if you have more than one incorrect year on your record, which does happen, particularly for anyone who worked through the 1980s and 1990s, when payroll processing was far more manual and far more error-prone than it is today, that number multiplies. So if you find an error, here is exactly what to do. You will need documentation that proves your actual earnings for that year. A W-2 form is the strongest evidence. An old tax return works as well. Even old pay stubs can help establish your case if you have kept them. If you do not have any of these documents, do not panic. Social Security can sometimes verify earnings independently, but having your own records makes the process faster and more reliable. Once you have your documentation, you can contact Social Security directly, either by visiting your local field office or by calling their national number, and request a correction to your earnings record. Explain exactly which year is incorrect and provide your supporting documents. Robert's correction, the example I shared at the beginning of this video, took about 4 months from the day he mailed his W-2 to the day his account was updated. That timeline can vary, but the process itself is straightforward once you have the right paperwork. I want to leave you with one more thought before we close. The documentation gets harder to find the longer you wait. If you worked through the 1980s or 1990s, your old pay stubs and tax returns may already be difficult to locate. Every year that passes makes this task a little bit harder. So if you have not checked your Social Security statement in the last 12 months, today is genuinely the day to do it. It costs nothing. It takes 15 minutes. And it might be the most financially important 15 minutes you spend this year. In the next video, we are going to cover 5 government programs that millions of seniors are legally entitled to, but are not currently using. Money sitting in the system with your name on it, waiting for you to ask for it. If today's video helped you, share it with someone you know who is on Social Security or approaching retirement, a parent, a sibling, a friend. Checking this one document together could mean real money for someone you care about. Subscribe if you haven't, hit the bell, and I will see you in the next one.